Borough Council.
Thank you. Please take your seats. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming tonight. Welcome to Watford Borough Council. The first order of business is the election of the chairman of Watford Borough Council for the year 2024 to 2025. I call upon Councillor Patterson to make the nomination.
Thank you, Simon. Colleagues, friends, and first-time visitors, welcome to this ceremonial, procedural annual council. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to work with Simon on his mission to bring awareness and action to the subject of mental health support in the workplace during his time as chair. I want to congratulate Simon for his achievements while holding the most important role of chair of Watford Borough Council. The funds raised this year to support mental health charity Hertfordshire Mind, for whom Simon has a clear personal passion for supporting, is wonderful. The support will go to those who need it most, and I know how hard you've worked, Simon, to ensure this fundraising was successful. But that was just one part of being chair. You have governed our council meetings with professionalism, and thank you, Simon, for how well you represented the people of Watford as their first citizen at this time. But now it's time to hand over the baton to Councillor Dawn Allen-Williamson, a Kellerland Ward councillor and a passionate community campaigner. Dawn has been chair in waiting for the past year and has expertly supported Simon and Mayor Peter in her role of vice chairwoman of the council. Dawn, I first met you in February 2019 when I was first selected as a candidate for Meriden. You were already the candidate for Kellerland and fully engaged in the campaign. You took me under your wing and supported me to learn how to canvass, the importance of engaging with the whole community, and we shared almost every evening and at most weekends in those months in spring 2019, either at photo shoots, making campaign videos, delivering and canvassing. It was exhausting but exciting, and I can't thank you enough for all the support and coaching you gave me through those first few months as I was a real novice campaigner. Dawn, you mean a lot to my youngest son, Jake. When he finally learned that your name was not Grace, you will forever be known in our household as Dawn in the morning. He was incredibly proud when you donated hand sanitizer to his junior school during the pandemic, and he has a photograph with you in the Watford Observer. The picture is still on his wall. And he treasures the Marcus Rashford book you gave him, teaching him to be the best he can be when he was finding school a little bit tough. That, for me, showed me exactly who you are, someone who cares for everyone and does their best to give a bit of happiness to people's lives. So how can I explain how fabulous Dawn is? She's an incredible campaigner and a force to be reckoned with in the Liberal Democrats. I do not believe there is a resident in Kellerland who does not know who Dawn is and has not had her knock on their door at least 5 times. And I'm not even sure if there's a house in Kellerland who have not been asked to have a Lib Dem poster board. Most have one at election time. She's an incredible community champion. If anyone needs the help of their local councillor, Dawn will be there and do everything she can to help. She will go to extraordinary lengths to support those in need and will fight for those who can't fight. Her charity work is recognised locally. Her support of the food bank and her beloved Elim Church is unwavering. And I will be forever grateful to Dawn for walking the memory walk and raising thousands of pounds for the Alzheimer's Society, a cause close to my heart. Dawn shines bright in our group. She has a big personality and a big heart to match, and I'm honoured to be her colleague and to be her friend. I'm really looking forward to supporting you in whichever way I can during your time as chair, Dawn, and it is my greatest pleasure to nominate you and see you duly elected as the first black chairwoman of Watford Borough Council, a historic moment for Watford and an important reflection of the diverse communities we are all privileged to represent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Patterson. Can I call on Councillor Bell to second, please?
Thank you, Chair, or outgoing Chair. I'm delighted to second the nomination for Mayor Chair Dawn. I've known Dawn for a long time now. She's known me from West Watford. She's been around a long time, very well known, and I'm sure she'll do a very good job. I mean, Sarah's already said all the good things about you, and we wish you well in the year. I'm sure you'll do as well.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bell. Are there any other nominations? I hope that there aren't, because that would really look good. Can I ask the council to vote on the motion? All in favour for voting Councillor Dawn Allen Williamson as the chairman stroke chairwoman of Watford Borough Council? Please raise your hand. I think that's passed. Councillor Dawn Allen Williamson has been elected chair of Watford Borough Council for the municipal year 2024 to 2025. Dawn has been asked to be known as chairwoman during her term of office, which we warmly welcome. So we're now going to pass over to, I lose the chain now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the ceremonial part of the evening. The new chairwoman will receive the robe and chain of office. So I will now call upon Councillor Dawn Allen Williamson to make the declaration of acceptance of office and the oath of allegiance.
Thank you, Donna. I, Councillor Dawn Allen Williamson, have been elected as the office of chairwoman of Watford Borough Council, hereby declare that I take the office upon myself and will faithfully fulfill the duty of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I, Dawn Allen Williamson, solemnly promise and declare that I will be faithful and bear due diligence to our most royal sovereign, liege Lord King Charles III, his heir and successors according to law.
Chairwoman, I have the honour to hand you the Mace of the Borough of Watford, symbolic of the authority vested in you as first citizen and as a mark of the dignity of your office.
We now come to the election.
No.
Speech. Okay, sorry about that. I just.
Yes.
I just want to thank Donna Nolan, the council director, my colleague, my daughter, who is my strong power, who encouraged me, my family, and my friends who encouraged me along the way. I am the chairwoman of Watford Borough Council. I have chosen 2 charities, which is Manor Food Project and the Goalie Saturday School. You're all from Watford, or whoever is from Watford would know how good those 2 charities are. And I solely support them. And I hope you'll be happy as well to join the journey with me, to fundraise and support them. We now come to the election of the vice chairman of Watford Borough Council for the year 2024-25. Can I have a nomination for the chair?
Thank you, Chair. I'm delighted to nominate Councillor Faber Esefed to be the Vice Chair of the Council.
Can I call upon Jenny, Councillor Jenny, to second?
It's a privilege to nominate Councillor Elizabeth as the Vice Chair of Watford Borough Council.
Is any other nomination? Not. So, we now announce.
You need to vote on it.
First, have some votes. Your vote. We have now declared that Councillor Faber Ifefed has been elected as the Vice Chairman of Watford Borough Council.
Thank you so much for coming today to honor me to be the Vice Chair of Watford Borough Council for this coming year. It's a privilege to serve the community. I've always desired that I will do my best. And I give you my word today that I will definitely do my best. Thank you.
So I'm now pleased to confirm the Chairman's companion and the Vice Chair's companion. I'm pleased to confirm Alicia Essong as the Chairman's companion. Now be presented with the chain. And I'm pleased to confirm Pastor Bon Achama, apologies, Chumba, as the Vice Chair's companion.
I would like to ask the retired chairman, Simon Feldman, and his consult to join me. I would like to hand this to you with love, Simon. You've been so wonderful. And as you know, we all love you. You've done so well for your charity, and you're very much appreciated. On behalf of Watford Borough Council, we adore you. Without you, behind a strong man, there's a strong woman. So Jenny, we appreciate you looking after Simon. Please carry on. I would like to ask Simon if he wants to say a few words.
Yes, brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I think what we need to recognise today is Dawn being the first black chairwoman of Watford Council, the impression that makes for Watford and how that shows we as a community are driven, inclusive, and Dawn being probably the best fundraiser we've ever had in this council. We'll be doing a lot for our charities this year and a lot for the whole community. So well done, Dawn. Very well deserved. And just give me a shout if you need me to knock on some doors. So I get to speak now about my years in office, with my 1 year in office as chair. And one thing I did want to do was start a tradition, and that being the outgoing chair coming up with a little new tradition that we can carry on and twist around and change each year. So my one I decided was going to be about giving thanks. So the first words of giving thanks actually were for the person that started me on this journey, and it's Mr. Peter Taylor. So I met Peter around 3.5 years ago in a coffee shop, and I was getting involved in the community, doing some work at the time, and he said, "Do you want to become a councillor?" And I was like, "Are you sure? Is there alcohol in that coffee?" And there wasn't. So Peter's been a leader, driven me to do that work and given me a platform to promote mental health and improve our town. And I think coming on to giving thanks, there's a few people that aren't here today, a few that are, the outgoing councillors that have worked tirelessly for this council. So I have got some awards made up for them. So can we have the box, please? So Nigel, is our Dennis, Richard, or Sarah, so would you like to come and accept them on their behalf, please? So Dennis, Sarah, and my name, Richard, they've all been working very hard for the council as councillors. And it is quite ironic because you come in, you do all your work and you disappear. So I want to ensure going forward that we always recognise the work of councillors past and all the effort and time they've put in. There's also a few other councillors, or ex-councillors, it seems quite strange not calling them by their councillor name. I'll start with one that I can see, Marilyn Devonish. Would you like to come forward, please? Thank you very much for your work to Central Ward. It's all right, congratulations. Now, I'm not sure if I can see Peter Hannon hiding behind the corner, if it's somebody else. Is it Peter Hannon? Is it? No, it's like, well, I can just see a bush. So I'm going to invite the mayor to take Peter Hannon's thanks. And then I think, Jenny, I think it would be appropriate to want to take Peter Jeffries, because he's not here. And you get to give me mine, there you go. So we move on to the part around the charities and the work we've done this year in Watford. So my chosen charity for the year was Hertfordshire Mind Network. And as we all know, mental health is something that can be seen as an invisible problem. Throughout this year, we've done lots of work. One of the pieces that we're really proud to continue is working strategically in Watford with all the charities and the good causes that are supporting mental health and how we can work together and alongside businesses. And throughout the term, we've carried out a number of fundraising events. So we had the fundraising walk, which a lot of councillors took part in. We also had the Rotary collecting for Christmas. We also had Karen, where are you hiding? Did a half marathon. And altogether, we raised just over £11,000. So I think the approach if we get all the councillors up, let's look at with the check. So no hiding. So everyone that took part in the walk has to come forward for the photo. Come on. Already, Ian. Who else can I see there? Dawn was one of the big fundraisers. There was more of us. Who else was there? Oh, anyone that helped with the Santa Rotary sleigh as well. So Anne. Brilliant. Thank you very much. And one more little tradition that I wanted to start, which we do usually do anyway, is thanking the members of the council, the officers, for their hard work throughout the year. So the one that I've probably wound up the most, Sandra, where are you? Has she actually ran already? There you are. I've got a little... You're in Democrats. Then I don't know if Helen and the events team are here tonight. Is Helen already ran away? She's already ran away. So, Donna, would you like to collect on her behalf? And Tim and Grace, for your comms and supporting my message this year. I thought I'd throw you under the bus as well. And there's just there's a nice little plant which is for all the officers and colleagues at Watford Borough Council for all the hard work. So, Donna, if you'd like to grab that at the end and give it to the colleagues. So, that brings me on to the bit where I hand it back over to your new chairwoman, who's going to take you through the rest of the year. So, enjoy. Thank you.
I would like to thank you all for coming to celebrate our big day. It's not my big day, it's our big day. Yes, I am our big day. I am very much looking forward to my year in office. I now propose a short adjourn of the council meeting for 10 minutes, and I will consider formal business. So we're gonna ask you all to go downstairs. There's drinks. I don't know what down there myself, to be honest, but there's some goodies down there. Just enjoy yourself and make yourself comfortable while we chair the next meeting, and I will join you at some stage. Which camera is it on me? One.
Yeah.
Point it at me.
Yeah.
The upstanding for the chairwoman of Watford Borough Council.
You can sit. Good evening, everybody. Before we start this evening, I just want to stand up for a minute and I just want to announce something very dear to us and very precious to us. We just want to say thank you to Carol on behalf of Watford Borough Council. You mean a lot to us, Carol. You've been here for 32 years, 33 years, just like a life sentence. You've been here putting us all in order, supporting us. You have been an asset to Watford Borough Council, and we really appreciate you. I'm sure we all miss you. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm sure we all miss you. I know Fran is not here today, but I know she is thinking of you also. And you have supported us all, and I'm lost for word really what to say to you because there's no word to express our gratitude to you, Carol. I think the mayor would like to say something.
Of course, yeah, thank you, Chairwoman. Carol, thank you so much. It's actually 33 years and 5 months, not that she's been counting. And I heard earlier today that she's planning to take up golf and beat her husband at golf. So I would just like to say a huge thank you, Carol. In your job, obviously, you interact a lot with councillors. And although sometimes those conversations are difficult, none of us would ever question your commitment to Watford, to this council, your dedication, your professionalism, and of course, your eye for detail. So thank you for your incredible service. It is appreciated by all of us, and we wish you a very, very long and happy retirement. And hopefully, you will remain a friend of Watford Council.
Thank you, Chair. Can I just also echo your thoughts and of the Mayor and thank Carol for all her many years of service. I know there's many councillors past and present who obviously remember you, and many of my former colleagues remember you, and thanks for a lot of your advice that you've given over the years. Often very vital, sometimes annoying. We did accept it, and I hope you have a very good retirement with your family. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Carol, we just want to present this flowers to you on behalf of all of us, I think. We didn't know what to get you because you mean so much to us, and I don't think there's anything in the shop that we can buy you something to prove to you how grateful we are for your support over those years.
Thank you very much, Chair.
And for me, I just want to say there's a bit of passion with Carol because before I was a councillor, I didn't know Carol but her name when I was buying my house. She was one of these ladies who was just so calm and helpful. My sailboat through night nothing. So, thank you, Carol.
Well, I just wanted to say it has been a pleasure. This is my 24th annual council meeting. So goodness knows how many other council meetings I've done in that 24 years since I came to the council. I have always enjoyed all of you. You've always been very respectful to me. You've taken on board what I've had to say. Sometimes I've had to say things, as you know, that you probably didn't like hearing or didn't want to hear, but you've always taken it, and I want to thank you and all that, I think Watford has been a marvellous place to work, and you're all part of that, so thank you very much.
Okay, we will start the business. Welcome back, everybody. Before we move on the rest of the agenda, particularly for the new councillors, I would like to remind everyone to stand when they're speaking. If you wish to speak or when I ask you to vote, please raise your hand clearly so that the officers and I can see. Only turn on your microphone when I invite you to speak. We're not expecting a fire drill tonight. Therefore, if the alarm goes off, please leave the building and head to the library. Is there any apology?
Yes, Chair, we've had apologies for absence from Councillor Kennedy Rodriguez and Shaki Ahmed, and I believe that the Chief Executive has to leave very shortly because she has to catch a train to go to Leeds for a conference.
Any more apologies, please?
I'd like to give apologies on behalf of Councillor Safri, he's chairwoman. Glenn Safri, chairman. I know you're here.
Is there any declaration of interest?
No, can I?
Oh, sorry.
So Councillor Dims is running late, so he is attempting to come out. I think there's an issue with trains.
Thank you. Is there any declaration of?
I have no declaration of interest, but I've just recognised that Councillor Wenham has also given apologies. Thank you.
Thank you. Should I repeat that? Any declaration of interest?
No change.
Do any member agree the minute of the meeting held on the 12th of March 2024? All
Agreed.
okay. Thank you. Minutes has been agreed. Welcome and thank you. I would like to welcome the new councillors following the recent election and the new elected councillors. I would like to say thank you to councillors who have returned, who have not returned from their work and support they have given to the community during the year as a councillor. Members training. I would like to remind all members that they have to sign up for their mandatory training for development, management and licensing if they are appointed tonight as a member of one of these committees or intend substitute this year. If you are unable to make any of their mandatory training, please let Sandra know as soon as possible. Also, scrutiny training should be completed if you did not attend the training last year. Again, this is compulsory if you are appointed to one of the scrutiny committee, task group, or wish to be substituted in future. D-Day 80th anniversary. On Thursday, the 6th of June, the council will commemorate an 80th anniversary D-Day. There will be two events in Watford: raising the D-Day flag at the town hall at 11 a.m., which will include the wreath laying ceremony. The Lord Lieutenant will be present, along with people from Beachfield School, who will read the special written poem for school. The second event will be a reception at Watford Museum from 8:15 with the drinks and tennis. The international tribute and read will be read at 9:15 p.m. when the beacon is lit, and the North London Military Hives choir will sing following the lighting of the beacon. All members are invited. Should I say all members should attend? Item 7. Members of the council. Item 7. Question by the member of the council under Council Procedure Rule 10. No question has received. Item 8. Petition presented under Council Procedure Rule 12. No petition has been received. Item 9. Business especially brought forward by the chairman of Head of Pay Service. There is no urgent business. Item 10, notice of constitution and political group. I now turn to item 10. Council is asked to note the report of Democratic Service Manager circulated as part of the agenda. The report is noted. Item 11, notification of council of member of cabinet and portfolio holder. The mayor has given notice of members of his cabinet. Members are asked to note the mayor's appointments. I would like to invite Mayor Peter to move the report. You have 7 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much, Chairwoman. I'd like to start by thanking Councillor Watkin for his, I think, over 12 years of service in the Cabinet at Watford Council. Mark did a great job, incredibly diligently, a huge portfolio that covered everything from finance through to facilities, property. Mark was responsible for the condition of the fountain on the high street, for example, that came under his area, but loads and loads of HR, and you always did it incredibly well, Mark, so thank you for that long time service on the Cabinet. It was greatly appreciated by me and I know many others. If you think that was difficult, you're now moving on to be chair of the planning committee. So I think by contrast, Cabinet was walking the park. As many of you know, over recent months, Councillor Williams had treatment, which thankfully all very grateful has been successful. Through that period of treatment, Councillor Rodriguez very kindly covered some aspects of it. I must say, despite having almost daily treatment, Tim seemed to still be on his emails and attending lots of meetings. But Councillor Rodriguez did a great job in that period, and I'm really pleased that he'll be joining the Cabinet as a permanent member to take on responsibilities that Mark had. So I move this agenda item outlining the new council and the new Cabinet and their responsibilities.
Thank you. I call upon Councillor Jenny to second the report.
I second the report and reserve my right to speak. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Does anyone else would like to speak? Okay, that's a no. Thank you. The appointment by the Mayor of his Cabinet is noted. Item 12, Executive Scheme and Delegation. Item 12, provide an amendment version of the Mayor's Executive Scheme Delegation. Details are set out in the report prepared by the Group Head of the Democracy and Governance. Group Head of Governance and Appendix. Members are asked to note the executive scheme of delegation as set out in the appendix. The executive scheme of delegation is noted. 13 program of meetings, 2024-25. Item 13 set out of the job program of meeting of the multiple year 2024-2025. A draft of the timetable was circulated before the agenda, was published, and the member were given the opportunity to comment. I move this report. I call upon Council Jennifer to second the report.
I second the report, Chair, and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. The motion is adopt and the timetable of meeting of 2024. Does anyone wish to speak before we go? I therefore ask members to vote. All in favor agree? Agreed. No abstain, none against? Thank you. I declare the program of the meeting has been adopted. Item 14. Item 14 is a report setting out the establishment of the committee and appointment of chairs and vice chairs. Establishment of committees. I have moved the following from the chair. Does the council agree with the establishment of the political balance committee as set out in the program in paragraph 4.1 of the report? I call upon Councillor Patterson.
I second the report, Councillor Chairwoman.
Does anyone want to speak on this? No? Should we vote on this, please? Anyone in favor? Thank you, that's passed. I will move the following from the chair. Does the council agree the establishment of the political balance committee as set out in paragraph 4.2 of the report? I call upon Councillor Jenny.
Thank you, Chairman. I second the report and reserve my right to speak.
Does anyone else want to speak? No. Anyone, can we vote? Anyone in favor?
Yeah,
That's carried. Appointments. Chairman. Appointment of members to committee. Council is asked to agree the appointment of members to the political balance committee as set out in paragraph 4.3.1 of the report and non-political balance as set out in paragraph 4.2. A list of nomination received is attached at appendix 1 to the report. I will move the membership of the committee and subcommittees as set out in appendix 1 from the chair. I call upon Councillor Jenny to second the motion.
I second the report, Chairwoman.
Has anyone want to speak? No. Should we vote on this? Everyone is in favor?
Yeah.
That's carried. Chairman, oh, that's carried. So chair and vice chairs. Council is asked to appoint chairs and vice chairs to the committee listed in paragraph 4.1 and 4.2 of the report. As a list of nominees received in attached appendix 1 1 point, 1 dash. Some nomination or outstanding which we will do with first. Apology, deal with first. Finance Scrutiny Committee, appointment of chair. Please can I have a nomination for chair?
Thank you, Chair. I nominate Councillor Khan to be Chair of the Scrutiny Finance Review.
Can we ask for someone to second, please?
I'll second that.
Okay. Councillor Khan, second. All in favor? So that's carried. Vice Chair of Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Please can I ask for a nomination for Vice?
Thank you, Chair. I nominate Councillor Jaktar Singh Dinza to be the Vice Chair of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee.
Can I have a second one, please?
No.
All in favor? That's carried. I will move the following recommendation from the chair. Does council agree the appointment of chair and vice chair as shown in Appendix 1? I call upon Councillor Jenny.
I second that report, Chairwoman, thank you.
Does anyone like to speak? No. Everyone is in favor? That's carried. Item 15, appointment of independent person to audit committee. Council has received a report of the group head of the democracy and governance seeking council approval to appoint Gurmeet Palmer as the independent member of the audit committee for the period of 4 years. Can I have a proposal, please? Is that Mark? Would you like to speak?
Yeah, so we're looking forward to welcoming Gurmeet onto the council. He's a experienced international corporate auditor, qualified accountant and entrepreneur. We believe he's got an impressive CV and he showed real understanding of our core values, corporate plan, knowledge of local government and the committee system, and his previous public and private sector experience with TfL, Camelot, Rail Delivery Group, and he studied and still lives in Watford.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please? Would you like to speak?
No, it's fine.
Thank you. Does anyone else like to speak? Okay.
No.
Can we have a vote? Is everyone in favor? It seems to carry. Thank you. Does the council agree the appointment? Item 16, appointment of representative of the council on outside body, 2023-2024. The item is the appointment of representative of the council on outside bodies and other mayoral appointments. I copy the reports and nomination have been placed on the table. Democratic Service will update the council website as soon as possible. Members are asked to note the appointments made by the mayor to those organizations that relate to executive functions. Would anyone like to speak? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Just on, I think we've got a hard copy on our desk of these nominations outside organisations. I'd just like to thank those people who are serving in these roles. The Appendix 2, I think Appendix 1 has, I'm not sure if this is the right one, but I'll just cover it up now anyway. The Hertfordshire County Council Health Scrutiny Committee, Amanda kindly served on that previously. You'll see it says it's to be agreed for the current municipal year. To be agreed, I'd like to nominate Councillor Matthew Martins to that role. Councillor Martins is, of course, the town's mental health champion, and I think it'd be helpful to have him on that committee, making the case for that. The Hearts Growth Board Scrutiny Committee, I think it has to be the chair of Open Scrutiny, so that will be Councillor Amanda Grinston once again. I think that's all of the ones that we've had gaps. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Mayor Peter. A list of nominations for appointment made by council to attach to the report. I will move the following recommendation from the chair. Can I have a second? Thank you, Councillor Jennifer.
Might as well continue the trend.
I second the report. Does anyone wish to speak? Does the council agree the nomination to the appointment made by council? Anyone in favor?
Yes.
That's carried. Thank you. Thank you for those who appointed. Thank you, those appointments for the council are approved. Item 17, appointment of monitoring officer. Council has received a report from the group head of the Democracy and Governance requesting council appointments. Leon Hornsby or monitoring officer for Watford Borough Council with the effect from June, the 1st of June 2024. Can I have a proposal, please? Mark? Thank you. Would you like to speak?
If I may, Chair, thank you. That's what I'm going to say, as we said before, but I want to take the opportunity very personally to thank Carol for all that she has done for me as a cabinet member, for this council. She represents all the solid values that are at the heart of what this council believes in. Fairness, detail, thoroughness, absolutely keeping us on the mark, and her wisdom will be missed. And now we have to move to her successor. Now, her successor is not legally trained, Ms. Carroll, so we will have to use other resources. It's not a requirement for the monitoring officer to be legally trained, but they have to be exceedingly competent, aware of a procedure, and being able to actually anticipate and be ready to handle any issues before they arise so that they can past mistress of this, and honestly, most of us don't know just how much work he did to support this council in all its work. Well, Liam has proved himself to be an outstanding associate director already, and I have every confidence that Liam will do a wonderful job for us. And it'll be very strange to see Liam sitting where Carol's sitting, so I mean, we have to sort of snap up to it. But other than that, I have no doubt at all that they will deliver excellent service to this council to keep our standards up to scratch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Mark. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Would you like to speak?
No, I reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. Does anyone else would like to speak?
Chair.
Okay, you have 5 minutes, sir. Go ahead.
It won't take 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was on the interview panel, and Liam came across very experienced and very good content. Both of the candidates were very good, but Liam kept it, and I think he will do a good job. I also would like to add my thanks to Carol for, I think we've been on the council nearly the same time when I came when you were here already. And she's done an excellent job. And so thank you and good luck to Carol and welcome to me. Thank you.
everybody in favour, I vote?
Yeah, that's unanimous, Chair.
That's carried. Item 18, amendments to the Constitution. Council has received a report of the good head of democracy and governance requesting Council's approval to the changes to the Constitution as detailed in the report. Can I have a proposal?
Yes, I'm happy with those.
Okay. Would you like to speak?
I think the paper covers it all very thoroughly, Chair. I mean, basically, we've had to do a reorganisation because of the sad retirement of our legal democracy government. So I think I won't say more than say that we just have to now rearrange our affairs to reflect the fact that she's going. This may be my last sort of act as a cabinet member, so I can apologise.
Is there a second? Would you like to speak?
I'll second it and reserve my right to speak.
Does anyone else like to speak? No?
No.
Sorry, Nigel. Would you like to speak?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, just to say, obviously, we've already paid tribute to Carol. Obviously, this has been pointed out, the London officer doesn't have to be legally trained. So we'll obviously, I'm sure Liam, as Councillor Dins and others have said, it's done very well in the past. But I think we'll just have to see how the shared service with St Albans and St Albans legal person carries on. Let's see how it goes in the next year, and I'm sure we can monitor that and see if it works out. And I'm sure it's something we can look at over the year.
Thank you. Nigel. Thank you, everyone. Does the council approve the amendment of the Constitution as set out in the report? All in favour? That's carried. Item 19, motion submitted under council procedure, rule 13. A motion has been proposed by Councillor Khan and seconded by Councillor Bell. Details are contained in the agenda. An amendment to the original motion has been received. Proposed by my dear ward colleague, Councillor Ian, and second by Councillor Bashir. It has been circulated to all members and will be uploaded to the council website as soon as possible by the Democratic Service. I invite Councillor Khan to move the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Can I just remind you, you only have 7 minutes, sir.
So, thank you. It's both an honour and deeply poignant duty to stand before you today as a proposer of this crucial motion. The gravity of the situation in Gaza cannot be overstated, and the need for our collective action has never been more urgent. It is heartbreaking to see the devastation in Gaza. As of when I wrote this motion on the 9th of May, the ongoing war has led to a loss of 35,000 lives within Gaza itself, including 14,500 children. Additionally, 78,514 individuals have been wounded and 8,000 are still missing. These statistics are not just numbers, they represent real people. Families torn apart, futures shattered, and lives irrevocably changed. I'm deeply moved by the stories of my Palestinian friends from the university that I went to, my teachers in Arabic language, my mentors, all good people who now face unimaginable hardships. Their experience remind me that behind every statistic is a human being with hopes, dreams, and loved ones. This personal connection fuels my passion for this motion and a need for urgent change. The severe conditions of famine in Gaza, exacerbated by the Israeli blockade, are critically hindering the delivery of essential supplies and humanitarian aid. This is not just a tragedy, it is a moral outrage that demands our immediate attention and action. Violations of international law through ongoing arms sales are fueling the conflict, intensifying the violence, and increasing the suffering of innocent civilians. The US has threatened to suspend weapons shipments to Israel, and the International Criminal Court is investigating possible war crimes, most notably the International Criminal Court just yesterday had passed on evidence that warrants should be issued for the Prime Minister of Israel and the Defence Minister, as well as 3 senior leaders of Hamas. This clearly indicates that crimes have been committed on both sides. Here in Watford, we are fortunate to live in a community that exemplifies peaceful cohabitation and mutual respect amongst diverse groups. That's our strength. The coexistence of Muslims and Jewish communities, Christian communities, people with no faith and different faiths within our borough is a powerful testament to the possibilities of harmony and collaboration. This model of peaceful coexistence is something we should be proud of and strive to promote beyond our local boundaries. Our commitment to peace and justice is not new. This council had previously condemned the horrific terrorist attack on Israel and called for the release of all hostages. We have always stood for peace and justice for all affected parties. Many of my colleagues in the Labour Party talked about the no war to Iraq previously, the anti-fascist movement. This town is known for that. We've always stood for peace and justice for all affected parties. Now we must reaffirm this commitment and take a firm stand against the ongoing violence in Gaza. We need to be at the forefront of bringing communities together. Our leadership in Watford can bridge cultural divides and provide support during international crises that affect all our residents, or some of our residents. We must organise interfaith forums despite the Conservative government's cut to interfaith, the national interfaith organisations to facilitate dialogue and understanding amongst our diverse populations, reinforcing Watford's role as a beacon of community cohesion and mutual respect. Moreover, we must adhere to international law. The UK government must take a leading role in international efforts to resolve the crisis in Gaza, ensuring that any involvement adheres strictly to international law and promotes peace rather than perpetual conflict. An immediate ceasefire is crucial to halt the violence and provide much needed relief to the people of Gaza. And freeing of all hostages on all sides is imperative. Stopping arms sales to Israel is essential to prevent further civilian bloodshed. This action is not just about policy, it's about humanity and the protection of innocent lives. Furthermore, a sustained and viable two-state solution is the only path to long-lasting peace and security for both Palestinians and Israelis. And this is what I hope this council believes, that hope must prevail. Hope must prevail over hate. Therefore, what this motion asks is that a call on the Mayor of Watford, who's the leader of this council. Although we've got the civic lead, Councillor Williams, Alan Williams, the leader of this council is the Mayor. So along with the cross-party councillors, so we provide, we've got your back on this as well. To engage with local religious and community leaders to address the specific needs of our residents affected by the ongoing conflict in Gaza and Israel. We must enhance support services such as counselling and community-led initiatives to help residents affected by this conflict, ensuring Watford remains a safe and supportive environment for all. We urge the Mayor to write to the Foreign Secretary, advocating immediate... Thank you. We urge the Mayor to write a letter to the Foreign Secretary advocating for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, ceasing all arms sales to Israel and supporting the two-state solution. We call for a letter to the Israeli ambassador conveying our profound distress and condemnation regarding the high rates of civilian casualties in Gaza, and I've seen the amendment also to write to the Palestinian ambassador, which actually I've sent this motion to previously, Dr. Hamza as well, and so he's received this motion. expressing our commitment to peace between Palestinians and Israelis. Let us reaffirm our commitment to the values of peace and respect for human rights, as demonstrated by the harmonious living of Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Christians, and all faiths and no faiths in Watford. Let us continue to stand united.
Sorry,
Let
Councillor,
us
that's
hope
it.
prevail. Let hope prevail over hate. Let us work tirelessly towards a swift and just resolution to the conflict of Gaza. Thank you.
Thank you. You went over your minutes.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Okay, I now invite Councillor Nigel to second. And
Thank you,
like
Chair.
to
I
speak.
rise to second our amendment and reserve my right to speak.
Can I invite Councillor Ian to move the amendment?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. So let me start by saying I'm sure we've each spoken to many people in this council and our residents across Watford about this dreadful conflict, and I know for many it will be very difficult to speak about. So we must look after each other today and ongoing as we support our residents. We should also support each other and those affected by this outrageous conflict. We put forward this amendment, and I note in the speech that Councillor Khan gave strong alignment with the amendment, so I presume the Labour Group is supportive of the amendment we put forward. Hopefully that's the case. But we put forward this amendment for two reasons: to update the motion with more context, to provide more detail, and as just mentioned, provide context on the more recent developments, namely the ICC seeking to issue warrants to a number of people. We also moved this amendment to make sure the outrageous ongoing loss of life in Gaza is highlighted, but the more information is laid out to really set clear the scale of the destruction of society. We want to make sure the loss of civilian life in Israel is also made clear, and that we condemn Hamas's atrocities, and make sure that's added to the motion. And I really hope that will be agreed. As I hope all agree that extremism, hatred, and authoritarianism has no place in Israel, no place in Gaza, and no place anywhere in the world. Many of us will know residents from the region, from Palestine or from Israel, and will know people who've had their family ties with the region, who are suffering from profound grief and loss at this horrid conflict. We, as representatives of the town, present this motion and amendment in solidarity with them, as well as those in the conflict and in the region itself. Every loss of life is an unspeakable tragedy, and this is a truly bloody conflict on a huge scale. 767 civilians and 373 members of the Israeli Security Service were killed in the attack on October the 7th by the terrorists of Hamas, and 3,400 people were wounded. In Gaza, as mentioned, there's reports of 3,500 people killed as of the 9th of May, including outrageous and truly despicable deaths of 14,500 children. In the amendment, we wanted to really highlight just how much the scale of society is breaking down in Gaza. The UN has estimated almost a third of all children are malnourished or medically wasted. 70% of the population of North Gaza are facing catastrophic hunger and disease. There's 1.9 million people displaced, 25,000 orphaned children, and 80% of the buildings in Gaza are devastated and destroyed. We need to make sure we recognise the scale of the appalling situation. There's been calls for ceasefires since November this year, and that call for the ceasefire has been growing and growing. Calls by the UN for restraint have been made, but unfortunately that's fallen on deaf ears. I will now, and I'm sorry this is a difficult thing to hear, I'll make clear the scale of the tragedy by reading some of the language from the ICC warrants put forward just yesterday. So with regards to Hamas leadership, and this is paraphrased, but I'll just read it out. On the basis of evidence collected at examined by my office, i.e. the ICC, I have reasonable grounds to believe that the leaders of Hamas bear criminal responsibility for the following war crimes and crimes against humanity. Extermination as a crime against humanity. Murder as a crime against humanity. Taking hostages as a war crime. Rape and other acts of sexual violence. Torture as a crime against humanity. Other inhumane acts against humanity. Cruel treatment as a war crime. Outrages upon personal dignity as a war crime. And the same prosecutes for the ICC in a different notification of warrants. On the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, I have reasonable grounds to believe that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, and Yoav Gallant, the Minister of Defence of Israel, bear criminal responsibility for the following war crimes: starvation of civilians.
Sorry, you have 1 minute remaining.
I will speed up. Starvation of civilians as a method of warfare is a war crime. Willfully causing great suffering or serious injuries to body and health. Willfully killing and willfully killing. Internationally directing attacks against civilian population. Persecution as a war crime and other inhumane acts as war crimes. Israelis and Palestinians and the whole of humanity are being failed by what's going on in Gaza and across Palestine and indeed in Israel. We must support these calls for warrants to seek justice in the courts. Everyone involved should be held to accountable by the courts. We need the world to engage and work for a two-state solution. We continue to call for an immediate ceasefire, massive and unobstructed aid to the region, and call that justice be sought for everyone being lost in the conflict. All hostages to be immediately returned and released, and a path to two-state solution urgently sought by every actor. Currently, the situation worsens day by day, and it's largely innocents and civilians who are dying. Thank you.
Councillor, we're out of time. Thank you. Councillor Sahel.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I second this motion, very important motion, without reservation, and support its tone and text in its entirety. The events of the October 7th were a horrific terrorist attack perpetrated by a terrorist organisation, Hamas, against the state of Israel and its people. It was brutal butchery, murder, and horrifying in its audacity, reaching in this nature. What has, however, followed the next 7 months in Gaza, perpetrated by the Israeli army and fueled by the Israeli government, is an unimaginable and unspeakable human catastrophe and horror and a campaign of brutal and targeted violence against the civilian population of Gaza. The situation is apocalyptic. Like Judgment Day, everyone is desperate to escape, yet there is nowhere to turn. All you see is a sea of displaced masses in sheer panic. Hospitals are not operational, borders are closed, food and water supplies are finished, and bombing and killing and death and destruction and devastation and maiming is everywhere. The terrorist Hamas organization is their real partner for peace. They are all creatures of hate, violence, extremism, death, destruction, and division. and to promote peace, harmony, and peaceful coexistence for all people in Israel and Palestine. I'm pleased to hear that the Labour Party colleagues have accepted the amendment and that we as a council can unanimously support this motion on a very, very important issue. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Chair, can we hold 1 second? We're having a slight problem with webcast, the laptop shut down. Sorry, bear with me. Do you want to speak? Just say, well, something.
On, just say something. Just say, welcome back, slight technical issue.
Hello? Sandra?
Thank you. We're okay again. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Thank you. Councillor Khan, can I ask you to accept the amendment, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to speak on the motion?
Oh, thank you. You've done this before, haven't you?
Chair,
Chair,
Oh, you want to speak as well?
yeah, I'll listen in case I need to add anything.
So are you?
I won't be put down.
Yeah, okay.
Not for all
Members, can I remind you that this is the chairwoman making today, so we're gonna just ask you to be considerate and give me a little bit of respect to go and see my guests. We will debate, but please cut it short, thank you. Can I invite Councillor Favour to speak, please?
Thank you, Chair. I recognize the strength of feeling on the issue we're discussing today, because it's a tragic human catastrophe. But as leaders of Watford community, we must not shy away from having difficult conversations. I think I am in a unique position to speak about how different communities live in harmony with each other despite their religious differences. I happen to be born in a country where 50% are Muslims and 50% are Christians. As a matter of fact, my president is a devout Muslim and wife is a pastor. Don't ask me how they pray. This shows that it is possible for people to coexist in harmony with each other, as we have seen in Watford community, with different religious groups living in harmony with little or no conflict. But as we speak today, more than 1 million civilians are sheltering in Rafah with nowhere safe to go. Labour, along with much of the international community, has been clear about this for many months to call for ceasefire. This is a moment for the UK government to stand up and use its relationship with the Israeli government to prevent further disaster. We want to see an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Now is the moment for that. Any diplomatic pressure needs to be brought to bear to bring this fighting to an end. We want to see the ceasefire to prevent any further civilian deaths. All hostages must be released on both sides. There must be unimpeded aid to Gaza. The UN Security Council has passed a resolution demanding all this. We want that to be implemented now.
Labour has been opposed to and is really offensive in Rafa for months and has been clear it must not go ahead. This was part of Labour's motion that was passed in the House of Commons in February. We cannot but support to ask for immediate stop to this war, so that we remove every impediment to reach a reasonable diplomatic settlement, so that every part of this side of the conflict can be saved. As you know, and as all of us know, in most of the war that we witness all over the world, women and children are usually most of the casualties. And so we must rise up today and call out this matter and call for immediate ceasefire. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I invite Councillor Mark to speak?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'm going to rise wearing two hats. One is a proud resident of Watford, this wonderful multicultural town where we have Muslims and Jews and Hindus and many other faiths coexisting in harmony. I also wear the hat of the chair of the Standing Advisory Council for Religious Education, which sounds like a real mouthful, but it actually is about teaching our children in Hertfordshire schools using the curriculum, the religious curriculum, to respect and understand each other's faiths. I have never been more worried about the tensions that are now being forced upon us by these external events that we have no control over, and that people who are of evil intent are using in our community and around the community to sort of fire up anti-Semitism on one hand and Islamophobia on the other. This has to stop. This, I think of Watford as being the most wonderful example of how communities live and enjoy each other's company. The last thing we can have is that being threatened. So anything that we can do as a group to support the end of this terrible atrocities, then I support it absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Can I invite Councillor Nasri to speak, please?
Thank you, Chair. I stand before you today, not just as a councillor, but as a mother, a woman, and a fellow human being. When I see the senseless killing of women and children in Gaza, my heart breaks. This is not just a political issue. For me, it is profoundly a human one. Every day we hear news of innocent lives lost, families torn apart, and communities destroyed. As a mother, I cannot imagine the pain and suffering of those who have lost their children. As a woman, I feel deep connection to the mothers and sisters who are grieving. And as a human being, I am compelled to speak out and take action. I have joined many demonstrations in solidarity with those who have innocently died, standing shoulder to shoulder with others who believe that we must do everything in our power to stop this bloodshed. These demonstrations are not just about raising our voices, they are about raising our collective conscience. Today we have an opportunity to come together as a council, as a town, as a community to make a stand against this ongoing conflict, humanitarian crisis. This motion is not just a statement, it is a commitment to supporting peace and justice. We must use our platform to advocate for an end to the violence and call for immediate humanitarian aid for those in desperate need. Our town, Watford, can set an example of compassion and solidarity. We can show that even from afar, we care deeply about their lives, those affected by this conflict. By passing this motion, we are not only expressing our solidarity with the victims, but also sending a powerful message that we as a community will not stand idly while innocent people suffer. We are saying that every life matters and that peace is possible if we come together with a shared purpose. Let us remember that our actions today can inspire others to take a stand. Let us be the voice for the voiceless and the hope for the hopeless. Today we can contribute to end this war and elevating this humanitarian crisis. I would like to end my speech with a powerful quote in Islam from our first Imam Ali alayhi salam. A person is either your brother in faith or equal in humanity. Thank you.
Can I invite Councillor Charlotte to speak, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So I don't think it's much shock to anyone that I feel really, really passionate about this.
most of you that know me, I've been working behind the scenes and supporting local task forces, and it didn't feel right today to talk about what we're talking about and not also recognise the task force that are amongst us here in Watford. There are some amazing, amazing residents here that are fighting for peace, fighting for humanity, and they really deserve to have every single bit of support. So I'm going to go through a couple of them. There are still lots more, and if you want to find out more, please drop me an email. But I want to start off with the Palestinian Solidarity Campaign. They had a fundraiser on Sunday, and they raised thousands of pounds for medical aid for Palestine. That goes straight towards the support and the medicine that the Palestinians need when comes the time where we're able to get it all over them. There's also an amazing charity called Food for All. Now, they go to war-stricken countries and set up kitchens, and they've already tried to get across the Rafah crossing, and they wasn't able to. The blockades are in place, but they're still working on their next plan to get over there again. He's spent a lot of time in Ukraine, I think it's 20 kitchens, and Lisa will know as well, 20 kitchens, and he deserves to be recognised and shouted about. And we should all be there in his office supporting him, because what he's doing, none of us are brave enough to do, I can tell you that for nothing. And then I've also known an Israeli family that are based here in Watford, and they have been raising funds for Palestinian children to get them the support that they need. So they're just a couple of amazing people, and while we back in these motions, it's also, I want you to back these people, because they're just doing something I could probably never do. They're really brave, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Charlotte. Thank you, Councillor Charlotte. Can I invite Councillor Sean to speak, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So unfortunately, Shafiq can't be here today, so I'd just like to share a few words on his behalf. Although local councillors, like our Watford Borough Council, typically do not have a direct influence over foreign policy or international affairs, we can play a role in promoting awareness, supporting humanitarian efforts, and fostering community cohesion. Given the current situation in Gaza, where there are reports of severe humanitarian crisis and human rights violations, hospitals being razed to the ground, and aid deliberately being blocked and food systems being destroyed, it is essential for us to take a clear and firm stance and actively speak out against these atrocities. We are a party that cares about human life, treats people fairly, values and safeguards individuals' freedoms. Therefore, we must immediately advocate for a bilateral ceasefire in Gaza, for a two-state solution which envisions coexistence of Israel and Palestine as independent states. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Can I invite Councillor Jenny to speak, please?
Thank you, Chairwoman. Sadly, for the very first time, I feel quite vulnerable in this council chamber speaking about this particular issue. For clarity, I fully support the amended motion, and am both personally and professionally heartbroken about and grieving the loss of innocent civilians whose lives have been torn to pieces by extremism and hate. But to put a bit of context to this vulnerability, and for those who don't know me very well, I live within a Jewish family, and I lead one of the UK's oldest Jewish community-based charities, providing love, care and compassion to older members of the Jewish community. I have never experienced anti-Semitism in the 30 years I've been an associate member of the Jewish community, but all that changed on October the 7th. Since then, I've professionally had to increase security and work hard to protect the safety of the care provided in my homes. Personally, I've seen members of the Jewish community having to conceal their Jewish heritage to ensure they're both safe in the community and, sadly, at school and university, places where any parent would rightly expect their children to be safe. I have as an individual felt intimidated and criticised when rightly calling out inappropriate language used by others when describing this war. All of the above are not acceptable, and the parts of this motion that we as community champions need to focus on are the parts that demonstrate our responsibility of a local borough council. That is, how we ensure the safety and security of all members of our wonderfully diverse community, how we role model the values of the liberal society that we are lucky to have been born into or fortunate to have moved to, and how we work hard together to use our voices to call out any form of hate and ensure a respectful and supportive environment for all to live in our town without fear. So a few comments on the motion itself. First and foremost, we must always unequivocally condemn the Hamas attacks for what they were. Acts of terror, including rape, kidnapping and murder of innocent women, men and children. Any attempt to justify these actions is morally indefensible, and we must firmly oppose the arguments of those who seek to rationalise them. They must not be forgotten or whitewashed, and the hostages taken or either killed or still held in Gaza must not be forgotten, and we must robustly campaign for their release. Secondly, we must grieve. We should grieve with those who are suffering, for those who have lost loved ones, and for those who have lost everything. When we face injustice in our world, we should rightly and collectively mourn. Thirdly, we should campaign on behalf of those who are still suffering, campaign for an immediate bilateral ceasefire and for peace. We should demand that Israel acts justly and proportionately, even as it fulfills its duty to protect its citizens. In waging war on terror, governments should always act to promote and role model for good. Finally, we should examine ourselves and work for peace and justice in our everyday lives. We might not think of ourselves as powerful, but every day we have opportunities, both big and small, to create a better world. In our workplaces and communities, through political campaigning, and even with our contributions to social media. We must also acknowledge that we as councillors represent the whole community in Watford, and recognise that this war was caused by extremism and hate. The British Jewish community is not answerable for the actions of the Israeli government, in the same way as British Muslims are not answerable to the actions of Hamas. It is a heartbreaking reality that tens of thousands of lives have been lost, with many more at risk unless immediate action is taken. It is crucial that all parties involved adopt a new approach, one that unequivocally denounces the use of violence against innocent civilians, focuses on the future for those who are displaced and have nothing left, support them to rebuild their lives and look for a solution that is grounded in peace and offers a positive future for the people of both Israel and Gaza. One final thought from me. We are all much more complex than any single identity. In moments of distress and trauma such as this, it is easy to fall into cycles of polarisation. But these cycles serve no one. They cut us off from important parts of ourselves, the richness of the diverse communities in which we live, and the humanity that we all share in common. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jenny. Councillor Mott, can I invite you to speak, please?
Thank you. I rise to support the motion. The tragic events playing out in the Middle East and elsewhere are human tragedy. We've heard much this evening about the atrocities and acts that have taken place, and I don't intend to repeat them. It is encouraging to hear some of the fundraising and charity work that's been going on, so that's something that's positive. But I would simply say this: the war has completely failed to deliver its objectives so far. There is still death and destruction taking place. Hostages remain unreleased, and there is no sustainable pathway to a two-state solution being played out in the region at the moment. I think that's important to reflect on, and I support this motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mott. Can I invite Councillor Jackson to speak?
That's okay, everything's been cut.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Nigel, would you like to speak?
Yeah, if everyone else has finished, I just second, really, I'm not going to make a long speech now, there's no need for it. I mean, there's been a lot of very good and emotional speeches, obviously from Shah and certainly Councillor Patterson. I can't follow what you said. I think that our original motion was there, it was above party politics, we felt we had to put it down, and we would obviously accept your amendment. I think the key thing is that obviously the fact that Carol accepted the motion when we linked it to Watford. Obviously, it had to be able to link to Watford, it's about the international situation. And I think the key thing about that, as mentioned in the amendment, the fact that the Conservative government has cut that money to the interfaith movement, that's a key thing. That's where we bring Watford into. The fact that so many people have commented on the work, the fact that the Muslim community, the Jewish community, Christian community, Hindu, other communities across the town have always got on well, and we're obviously concerned about the tension since then, but the good work that's been done, and that's what we want to encourage and engender. So anything we can do on that, obviously we've asked the Mayor to write to the doing and to do all they can, encourage all the work, charitable work. So I won't say any more on that. I think it's a great speech tonight, and I hope that we can go forward. And the great thing is that all of us here coming together to recognise the good community cohesion in the town, and we want to carry on with that. So thank you.
Councillor Khan, would you like to someone?
Yeah, I'll.
Just to remind you, you only have 3 minutes.
No, that's fine. Can I just thank Councillor Stokesbury, Councillor Bashir, Councillor Zebedi, Councillor Watkin, Councillor Shah, Councillor Saunders, Councillor Begum, Patterson, Tomei, and Bell. And forgive me if I forgot anyone else who took part in this debate. So I framed this as actually at night time, children are asleep, wife was asleep, following the news, and at late night, I thought that I need to, as a council, make a non-political, non-sectarian motion about such a crucial issue that's affecting our community, and it's a sign of our maturity that I've tried not to bring in party politics into such an important matter. That's something which all of us need to do. There's certain things which are above party politics. And I hope that we work together to bring communities together. It's sometimes politics and petty politics can be divisive, and I could get shouted at the street for being a Labour Party member, supporting genocide. Me of all people, I've been ratcheted up during a party political campaign. Things like that are not helpful for our local democracy, are not helpful in reality when people are actually so intimately close to the Palestinian cause. And those are the type of things that we need to raise above. And hence, this motion was put forward. And I hope that all of us are in favour of this motion, whether it's amended or as is. And that's why I submit it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is everyone in favour of the motion as amended?
Yeah.
Unanimous, Chair. That's carried. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. This concludes the end of the council meeting. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Be upstanding for the chairwoman.